Okay, I'm here with Eric Voss, the TMC SuperTech champion for 2015. Thank you for joining us this morning, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
We're in the exhibit hall just after the Sunday morning breakfast, the awards breakfast, where included was recognizing the winner of the Truck Driving Championships, as well as the SuperTech competition. So Eric, welcome, and how was that breakfast? What was it like being up there and being recognized by some of the trucking industry leaders this morning?
It was a nice breakfast. Getting up there on stage was kind of intimidating, seeing all those people just applauding me and just congratulating me was pretty cool. So I was happy to be here today.
So we'll get into SuperTech in a minute, but let's get a little into your background so people can know a little bit about you. How did you get involved in trucking and become a technician with FedEx Freight?
Well, I started out going to Boise State University. I was going for a mechanical engineering degree, and I decided I didn't really want to sit behind a desk all my life, and I was really good with working with my hands and building things and repairing things. So I went to Diesel Tech school there at Boise State, and I was working the dock at FedEx Freight while going to school, and I transferred right over once I got my degree. And been working on trucks and trailers and congears ever since. So,
how long have you been with FedEx Freight in total?
11 years.
11 years. And you live in Boise, Idaho now? We're taping this in Philadelphia. You came all the way from Boise in part to be part of this breakfast today and to be recognized.
Yes, I did.
So what is a typical day like for you as a truck technician for people that might not really know what you might do day to day?
It changes from day to day. I work on trucks. Some days I work on trailers, the next day congears, forklifts. On the trucks I usually have a lot of electrical issues, more and more, and then preventive maintenance and things like that. Trailers, preventive maintenance, tires, doors, gears, you have a bunch of other repairs, pretty much the same as trailers, except for doors and things like that. So it's different from day to day.
So you mentioned electrical issues that I know the trucks, we talk about it in our programs and our coverage, becoming so much more complex than they were not all that long ago. This is what you do is much more than dealing with tools. You certainly can get your way around there, but there's also a lot of this with the electronics, a lot of computer-related stuff that you have to be familiar with. It's a pretty wide range of skills, I guess, a top technician would need. Would that be accurate?
Oh yeah, that's definitely accurate. I think I use a computer about 75% of the time.
75%?
Yeah, it's quite up there. I mean, when you're dealing with trucks, you're always in the computer. If you have ABS issues on trailers, you're on that. So it's a higher number up there. So
it would be fair to say computer skills would be an absolute requirement these days to probably be a very successful technician, besides just in the past it'd be thought of as just sort of working with tools.
I would agree, yes. Like I said, using it daily in and out of preventive maintenance, so it's definitely a skill you need to have.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this SuperTech competition. How did you get started in SuperTech?
Back in 2006, my boss really pushed me to go to this competition. So I took the test through our internal competition, and I did very well. Made it to SuperTech. Don't know where I placed the first year, honestly. But that's how I really started. My manager really pushed me to become better at what I do. So, and ever since then, I've been trying to push myself to be better and better.
So you, if I remember correctly, you've done it 9 times now total. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to this year, you finished as high as 2nd place overall.
Correct.
Right. But this year at 2015, which was in September in Orlando, and we're going to put the story up, our coverage. I was there to witness Eric winning. Going to put that up on the screen so people can access it. We talked a little bit about what made the difference this year to go from 2nd place to 1st place. You did some studying, if I recall. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just hit the books a little harder this year, honestly. I mean, I'm really good with my hands and knowing how to repair things, but it's more of using the repair manuals and following each step. And that's what they really look for at SuperTech, to see how you can actually apply your skills following the directions.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the competition? I know it goes over multiple days and there there are steps to it. You can tell us a little bit about the actual process of competing in SuperTech.
Okay, yeah, Sunday we have an ASE test, 100 questions. Then we move on to day 2. All the technicians go there, and we start with 12 stations, and they're basically handwritten tests, not really hands-on, but a little bit. Then the top 119 from day one, they go over to day 2. So, and that's where all the hands-on and trucks and trailers come into play, and you start actually working on the trucks and diagnosing whatever station you're working on. So it's a pretty big competition.
So I remember at the end, at the luncheon after it's all over, they start announcing winners. A lot of these individual stations, they announce all the winners of one at a time, and we talked afterwards. You didn't actually finish first in an individual station, but won overall because of a consistent performance.
Yeah.
Were you surprised a little bit as it was going on that he didn't hear your name, and then to also hear your name called as a winner? Was that a little surprising how it played out?
Yeah, it was real surprising actually. I was real nervous when they didn't call my name. I was hoping I did really well on at least one station, but like you say, being consistent throughout the competition is really what pushes you over the top. So it's not worth, or not being 100% every station and winning it. It's actually just being consistent. That way you have your highs and your lows, but be there.
FedEx Freight did very well. FedEx won the team competition, multiple individual station winners, second place, third place, have had grand champions, TMC SuperTech champions in the past, has performed very well. So there's some very, very tough competition even within the FedEx Freight family.
Yep.
In terms of on the technician side. So there has some good-hearted internal competition going on at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, we have a really hard internal competition. We always jokingly try to beat everybody else. I mean, it's still a competition, but as a team, we are always a team. So, and that's the biggest thing that we try to do. Be a team there, and then support everybody to be a better technician in our company.
Now, being there before the winner was announced, they put on the screen quite an interesting list of prizes for the champion, and many of the individual station winners. Lots of very impressive stuff was given out from donations, supporters, sponsors, whatever the case may be. For the SuperTech winner, it was quite a list. I left thoroughly impressed. Is there any one or two that you won from your performance that really stand out in your mind? You want to share and entice other people to get involved over some of these prizes?
Yeah, there was a Snap-on toolbox worth about $4,500 to $5,000. It's customized paint job on it. It says TMC 2015 National Championship. There's also a trip to Daytona 500 for 2 that is sponsored by TMC, so I get to go there next spring. And then there's also the Dream Garage. It's basically a bolt bin, cabinets, and some rolling drawers, and it's worth quite a bit of money actually. And then you get money to restock it for a year. So those are the biggest.
Very impressive.
Very impressive prizes right there. So.
And how was the reaction back at home with the family, back at work? What was the reaction when you came home as the new winner?
My wife was really happy for me. I have a sign outside of our little town. I live in Parma. It's a real little town community, and they put out a sign saying SuperTech National Grand Champion Eric Voss, and it was real nice to see that, so everybody knows who won. And I'm sure a lot of people don't really know what it is, but it gives them a chance to actually Google it if they have to figure out what it is. So it's real nice to see our community kind of do little things like that.
So I want to turn a little bit to the technician shortage. Well, there's a competition and it's fun and competitive. There is a bit of a larger meaning behind the competition, I know, from TMC side and from the industry side, and that's about this technician shortage. Sometimes I hear about the driver shortage a little bit more. There's no question that there is a technician shortage. One of the things that came out of the meeting, the TMC meeting, where the SuperTech competition took place, was about getting active about finding technicians, and one of the solutions that came out was discussed, it's not that this was new, but to more actively reach out to schools, even as far down as high school, and really reach out to them directly. I believe that's something that you agree with, and I think something you want to get involved with, plan on getting involved with. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I believe that getting out there to the high schools is one of the biggest things, showing that there is a shortage. So basically you can go to college or your 2-year program or 1-year program even, and pretty much walk into a job. I mean, it'll be an apprenticeship job most likely, but you pretty much have a job right out of school. And I know from some friends of mine that have actually gone to a 4-year college and they can't even find a jobs for different careers. So it's kind of nice knowing that after your degree, you can walk right into a job and start making money. So
Is it as much informing students, whether it be high school or a technical or trade school, of the jobs available? Is it also in part helping to show what the job itself is, that it might not be exactly what they're thinking? You talked earlier about the computer skills, to show them the depth and scope and the excitement that you feel that this job can offer.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you need to show them that, yeah, he could walk into a job, but you also have to show him what you kind of need to expect in the job. So moving forward, I think even in high school and college, you actually need to have a technician go. I mean, it's really good to have them actually interact with a technician to actually see what they actually go through on a day-to-day basis. So,
what advice might you give a teenager that might be unsure of a technician, or just really which way do I want to go in life? And I'm so young, I don't need to decide, but they hear about it, he or she hear about it, might be interested. What advice might you give them regarding a career as a technician, especially within the trucking industry?
First thing is, I would say, is you need to decide what you really want to do. Nobody else can make that decision for you. It's your life, so go for whatever you want to do. Next, I'd say, if this is really what you want to do, then put both feet in and jump in and go for it. So,
trucks are changing very, very quickly here as we look in the exhibit hall, which hasn't even formally opened yet. I see some of the trucks around, even from a few years ago. I mean, it really changing very quickly. How do you see the job of a truck technician changing in the next decade or so?
There's so many variables, actually. There's more and more computers coming on each truck nowadays, so you're going to need more computer skills. You're just going to have to stay up with the technology. You're going to have to train yourself. Maybe some companies might train you, but you still need to do your own training as well to stay on top of it. So as far as that, I think that's the biggest thing that's going to change.
I know we're 11 months away from next year's SuperTech competition, but I would guess that you're planning on going back to defend your title. Would that be a fair assumption on my part?
Yeah, I believe I will be going to defend my title next year, so it will be a good competition once again. So hopefully in Raleigh it'll be a little different venue, so hopefully we'll see new technicians there.
So everyone else out there watching this better start studying and practicing today, because you're coming prepared to defend next year.
There we go.
All right. Well, Eric, I want to congratulate you again on being 2015 TMC SuperTech champion. I also want to thank you for taking a few minutes to join us today on Live on Web.
Thanks for having me.